there. So for my place-based lesson plan, I planned out a trip to the Harvey County Historical Society, which is back in my hometown of Newton, Kansas. I planned out a trip with a fourth grade class so that it aligns, with the history standard for fourth grade, which also happens to be about Kansas history. So I would take it more of like a local Kansas route. I would say students and I would go down and explore all of the resources that the Historical Society has to offer, such as old documents, old photos from like the beginning of Newton up until now. They have a lot of great resources like photos from the old hospitals, from the flood we had back in the, I want to say like 70s maybe. They just have a lot of amazing resources, and I think it would be a very special experience for my students. So once we go do that, once we go explore downtown, we would have to get there by bus because it's not a walk from any of the elementary schools in my hometown. But I don't think that would be a very big issue just because it is right downtown and Newton is a decently small town. But then when we get back to school, I would like to split. I have 4 different places in Newton written down that I would like my students to explore more. Obviously, I could add more if needed, but I would split my kids up into 4 groups at least and have them do a research project over one of the places. So I wrote down Bethel College, which is a college in North Newton, which is a smaller Mennonite community across the railroad tracks from Newton. And then I have the Workentine House, which was built in the 1800s by Russian immigrants who came to Newton and had a very large impact on the agricultural scene and what kind of wheat we were growing in Kansas. They changed that because the wheat they were growing back home in Russia was a lot more compatible with the climate in Kansas as opposed to the wheat we were growing at the time. And then the third topic I have is BNSF in Newton, which is Newton is a really big railroad community. I have plenty of people in my life who work for BNSF. We're most well known for trains, I believe. We have about, I would say, over 30 trains come through town every day. Like if you're traveling from one side of town to the other, you're probably going to get stopped by a train. So especially since in the standards, it talks about transportation systems in Kansas. I want to talk about the railroad since it has a very significant meaning in the local community of Newton. And then the last thing I have written down is Coronado Heights, which isn't in Newton, but it's about 50 minutes away. It's northeast of Lindsborg, Kansas. And it's where the explorer Coronado decided to turn around in his adventure to look for the 4 lost cities of gold. He reached Coronado Heights and then turned back around and went home. We went there when I was in 4th grade, and I thought it was the most fun thing in the world. So even if I can't take my students to Coronado Heights, I would still love for them to be able to learn about it. But yeah, that's what my loose idea of my place-based lesson plan would be. Thank you.